What's up guys, it's Ruustic. In today's video, I'm going to be answering a really great question about working with people on set and how to get ideas for fight choreography. As always, I am a trained industry professional. Take my advice for entertainment purposes only. If you do take my advice, do so at your own risk. Remember, filming action is fun, but it can be dangerous, so make sure you stay safe. Today, I am going to be answering a question. This is part of the weekly Q&A type of videos that I'm doing. So if you guys have any questions about stunts or filmmaking or fitness, that kind of stuff, make sure to leave them down below. But anyways, let us jump right to the question. So Melvin Akinzar asks, hey Ruustic, I started to work with a YouTuber on fight scenes and it's somewhat new for their channel. I'm new to working with them and so I wanted to know the best practices for preparing choreography and camera work beforehand to present to them and how to help direct the shoot without being a total control freak. Now Melvin, that's a really great question and it's good that you're aware that when you're working with people that are new at fight choreography and you know more about it, that you can kind of seem like a control freak, and especially when you have a good vision in your head of how exactly it's going to work. I actually have experience of doing this and being a control freak in the past. So great question, and now let's answer it. So basically I see it as there's a two-part answer to your question. The first part I want to say is that the more homework you can do beforehand, before the shoot, the better. If you can design a fight in your head, you can shoot a pre-viz if you have a couple people. It's just like a really basic example of what you want, like a reference of the fight that you want to shoot. Or if you don't have those resources, you could even just like look at different clips on YouTube and pull a couple moves from here and there and maybe cut it together to like a little sizzle thing, or like just show like 2 or 3 things you want to try. Setting the groundwork by doing your homework like that is actually going to help add to your credibility on set, as well as give you an actual blueprint to go by on the day and make everybody feel more involved and more into the process because they kind of know where it's going. So now the second part to answering your question actually revolves around on the day when you're on the set. I actually got this advice from a couple of good stunt coordinators and directors, and I've seen it work in my own life when I'm directing stuff or stunt coordinating. But basically what you want to do is, if somebody else is directing and for example you're stunt coordinating, you want to make it so ideas seem like they were the other person's. And let me give you an example really quickly to illustrate what I mean. Last week I was stunt coordinating a little student project, right? So they sent me the script and I show up to set and I kind of have an idea of how to shoot this fight scene that they wrote in the script. But I made sure that when I got there in the morning, I went over to the director and I talked to him on the side. I pulled him over and I said, hey man, how do you see your fight being shot? Just tell me exactly what's in your mind. Remember, at this point I already have it in my head how I think they should shoot it, but kind of went through and just gave me his ideas for shots. And it was actually pretty close to what I already had because he wrote the script. But once he went through, I actually asked him if I could suggest some shots myself, which would make it simpler. Like there was a couple of places where I could consolidate some shots. There was another shot I could add to make it more safe for the performers because none of them were actual stunt people. So basically I went through and I gave him my ideas. He liked those and that was that. So we had the conversation, we built up the confidence for the day. And then later when we got to the fight, we only had like a small window of time to shoot and they were running behind. So what happened was I just kind of asked him in front of everybody on the set. I just kind of was like, can I make a suggestion? And he was like, sure. And then I basically said, remember when we were talking earlier, like you had this idea for this one shot of the guy getting tackled out of the frame, which was actually an idea I had in my head of how to shoot that before, but I made it seem like it was his. And I was saying like, let's do that here right now. And he was like, yeah, great idea, good job. So to make a long story short, to answer your question is when you're working with creative people, it is always good to build up the people around you and make it seem like things were their idea. And so to wrap up your question, man, do your homework, do as much preparation as you can. If the director doesn't really care about the fights, and even if you could just write out a couple of beats, that would help you on the day, that would help you pitch it to the director. If you can get a previz done, that's a great. If you could get a couple of clips just to show a reference, that's great. And on the day, remember, you got to work with people and make things seem like it's their idea. And if you have an idea for a shot, just be nice about it. Just be like, hey, first hear them out and then just be like, can I make a suggestion? And people are usually open because that's where we're all being creatives and working together. So that was a really long answer to a very good question. So hopefully you got what you needed from this. Hopefully you guys watching learned something as well. If you want to see more fight scene tutorials and different tutorials, make sure to check out the playlist below. If you enjoyed this video, pass it on to a friend. If you want to see more videos like this, smash subscribe. Now get out there, stay safe. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.